Well, it's a good win, certainly for us this afternoon, coming off of such an emotional night the other night with our win against Ohio State. The flow, the rhythm felt a little bit like we were, for me, it felt like we were playing a little uphill this afternoon. And I don't know, it's because they were hitting shots. We weren't getting the stops that we needed. Certainly I thought we were good offensively. When you look at the end of the game and you shoot 63% from the twos and 61 from the three, and our free throws continue to hover around 70 and over, which is good. I felt offensively, I thought Grace Berger was terrific today. And it was good to see her have a breakout game where we've seen her do that before, but today was, I thought, Grace Berger day, where she looked, for her shots. I thought she was aggressive, and that was great to see. And we needed it because, she had to carry us there for a little bit, I thought, offensively, when we weren't getting stops, and we were trying to extend the lead. And I thought she seemed like she was the one that was willing to make some plays for us. So, give Rutgers credit. They played hard. They hit shots. Coquise is going to do an outstanding job at Rutgers. I have so much respect for her and as a coach, and I know that she's. It's just a matter of time before that program is back. To where Coach Vivian had it at one point, this is another, like I said, another step in the right direction for us today. I'm happy with the outcome, certainly, but I would like to have felt like we were really great lockdown defenders today, and I didn't think that was the case. But we'll have to shore some things up and then turn around quickly and get to Minnesota on Wednesday and hopefully be better on that side of the ball.
Coach, talking about Grace, what is just the transition period you've seen from her in terms of trying to get back in the rhythm of the game, the flow of the game after coming back from her injury? Is that something you saw her do pretty quickly? I guess, how have you just seen her kind of get back into playing basketball after being away for so long?
Well, I mean, the first game back, Northwestern, if you would have told me that she had been out for 6 weeks, I would have said you're crazy because she just looks so comfortable. But, I think there's been a period where she's, especially in this game, the game of basketball, where timing is important. In cardio as well. She did lose a little bit from a cardio perspective when she was out. Again, she's, I think with every practice, I think with every game, you see Grace looking more like the Grace Berger that we've, been accustomed to seeing. Today was just another one of those days where I thought, her timing, her stamina, her moxie, that she's played with, really showed up in a big kind of way. And, again, if anybody deserves it, it's Grace Berger because of the amount of time that she spent, just working on her game. So, yeah, I think it's just we're just seeing her with every game, I think, get a little bit better and a little bit more comfortable.
So Rutgers was making shots, like you said, but just throughout the game, they scored less and less points with each quarter. How were you able to, especially in the fourth quarter, really extend the lead like that? They scored 7, you scored 20 to just really end the game as you did.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of, you're challenging your group over there with every timeout that comes. We don't burn a lot of those over there, and we try to use them so we can keep them for the end of, tight games. But I think it's just us challenging them to, we felt like we were soft, to be honest with you, in the first half in terms of getting to the loose balls, in terms of rebounding. They took it from us a few times right in front of our bench. And, so the challenge was that we needed to be, grittier, we needed to be tougher, we needed to be more resilient, persistent in coming up with the 50-50 balls and the rebounds and so forth. And so, I hate it that it took us, that long to kind of figure some of that stuff out because that's not really been the makeup of this team. But, I thought, we finally, in the third and then certainly in the fourth, did some really good things.
Terry, can you take a deep breath for a second and say,
Yeah.
hey, we've won 20 games
Yeah.
already, and it's not
Yeah.
even February.
Right.
And the crowds seem to be getting bigger and more enthusiastic.
Yeah.
And I mentioned to the players who were in here that suddenly you're like rock stars with the lights before the game, like from the concerts. And Sid said that it's like impressive to see the flood of red
Yeah.
come into the building
Yeah.
like 90 minutes before a game.
Sure.
So are you feeling that a little bit in the community?
Well,
and from
the other
fan
night,
base?
it was the sound, the noise was incredible, and that was throughout the entire 40 minutes. I don't know that you talk about me taking a breath. I don't know that crowd took a breath because they were so loud, throughout the 40 minutes. And there was certainly, especially in the third, a lot to be excited about. And so, I get that, but I'll say this, Sundays are a great day for us to draw, a 2 p.m. game, families that come from, a little bit further than the Bloomington community, whether it's Indy or Evansville, surrounding counties that want to come over and watch good women's basketball. And, I think that this team has, given them a reason because of how they've played, because of how they competed, for there to be an interest level and an excitement, for fans to come and, watch this group play. And so, it is exciting. It's great. It's something that, certainly our kids feed off of, the energy. It's great to see, Lou. I mean, that we've created this. Our program has created an excitement for women's basketball here.
I know you don't like to get too far ahead of yourself, but you took the lead in the Big Ten today. Grace Berger mentioned that your goal is to win a regular season championship. So how do you balance not looking too far ahead with you now being in first place while also keeping your eye on the goal of what Grace has clearly said you want?
Right. Well, again, it's, the balance is that you continue to coach your team just like you've always coached your team, and you don't look ahead. And we didn't. I'm not. It's a great win today, but there was a concern for me yesterday inside of practice, and our focus wasn't where it needed to be. And so our staff, myself included, we have to do the job of leading this group. And although they're very mature, and I've talked about their maturity level, again, we can't get ahead of ourselves. We have, and again, I haven't looked at everybody else down the line, but we have an incredibly difficult stretch. We still have to go to Minnesota, and then we have to go to Purdue, who beat Ohio State today. We have Michigan that's still to come in here. We play Ohio State again and Iowa twice. So I'm going to guess that if you want to compare the top, whatever they are in the league, that going down the stretch here, the Hoosiers probably have the most difficult road. It's just like anything else we do in our preparation. The next game is Minnesota, and as I mentioned, the challenge tomorrow is going to be that we got to be so much better defensively. And our defense has to travel with us to Minneapolis.
Coach, Sydney Parrish was just talking about while Grace was out, watching her take care of her body physically and basically be able to do whatever she could. How did you see her do that? What were some of the things, I guess, even in a limited capacity while she was still unable to play, did you see her kind of do as much as she could?
Well, Grace has always taken care of her body. She's a vegetarian, and that's been well documented. I mean, she's very mindful of what she puts in her body. She's very mindful of her recovery. This young lady is a pro, and so she conducts herself like a pro every day when she walks into this building. And, she listens to her body. She communicates at a high level with our training staff and Kevin, who's our strength and conditioning coach. And so, she's mature, and she understands, what she's what she's able to do, but also in terms of just listening to what she's capable of in terms of her body on that particular day. And she was crushing the bike. She was crushing anything that Kevin or Ben would put in front of her in order to make her way back. But I think she was also careful. I don't think she was reckless in her recovery. And I thought she handled herself in the right kind of way in terms of not being too. The sense of urgency was there, but it was there in a really intelligent kind of manner, because she wasn't going to put herself out into a situation earlier, and she probably could have, because her recovery is going to be 4 to 6 weeks. It was right at 6. She looked good at 4, but I give her credit for being able to show patience and really just make sure that she was ready. And but give her credit, because I think there's such a thing mentally when kids get hurt. It's just as much physical with their rehab and recovery. But I think when you've played as long as she has, there's a mental part of it too, that she has to massage. The thoughts, that are in and they're coming in and going out, but Grace was positive from the beginning, and she attacked her recovery just like she, attacks that, the paint to get to her mid-range jumper.
It feels like at any point you guys are poised to go on some kind of run. Today was that 11-0 run in response to Rutgers' 8-0 run. Where does that confidence come from, and how important was that particular stretch today? Again,
I think that these guys, we've played 21 games now, and they've played a lot of big games. They've played in a lot of moments where they've been down, and they've had to also make big shots to get themselves back in games. So I just think it's kind of who this group is. I've said it. They don't panic, and they kind of they try to at least keep their foot on the pedal. So. You're dealing with a very, I think, a confident group, but they're confident in the right way. But my job is to continue to challenge them every day, and don't worry, that's going to happen.
Another game where you get to see some subs and bench production. Mm-hmm. What were they giving you defensively today?
I thought Lexi came in and did a lot of really good things. Sarah struggled there for a little bit until we got her back in and she got going. But I thought Lexi Bargerser came in and almost played 9 or 10 minutes today and was really good defensively. Lily had a couple tough, I thought, fouls that were called on her that appeared to me to be, like she was where she needed to be. And, but those were kind of unfortunate calls for Lily, but she's been terrific as well coming off the bench. Alyssa Gary needs to come in and continue to try to be aggressive, but, she and Henna, haven't been off the bench for the last couple games. So, you saw those two kids, I think, probably look a little rusty, if that's the right way to say it. But, I thought Lexi today was really took advantage of the minutes that she was given.
Audrey in the background.
One more question about Grace. You said it was Grace Berger Day.
Sure.
So,
is it Grace Berger Day? Everybody's writing an article about Grace Berger? I'm here for it.
She had 2 pretty big threes in the third quarter, and she's usually probably more accustomed to those mid-range jumpers. Is that her three-point shooting is something she's been working on, or you've been hounding her in practice?
Not at all. I think that's the thing when you break down Grace's game, that, playing at that next level, she knows that she's going to have to be consistent from beyond the arc, and it's something that she has really worked hard on. When she's done with her career here at Indiana, it's what's going to, probably get her next job, at the next level, with her ability. She hit a big one against Ohio State too. But today, watching all of them, they look great coming out of her hands. But it's something she's certainly been, focused on and working on.
I got a question on Zoom here. Seth Tao. Seth, go ahead.
Seth, where are you?
I'm back with my family in Maryland. I'll be back soon.
Okay.
Coming as close as you did last year and even before that to winning the regular season title, like you talked about before, how much does that experience kind of shape the way you're heading into this stretch run in February, battling for the title again?
Well, the experience, it means everything. You have to, in order to win a championship, you have to be paddle tested, every inside of every game, and we've done that. But we've also showed a great amount of, maturity and resilience, and we've had to grind some of them out. There's been times that we've really had to rely on our defense. There's been times that we've really had to rely on our offense, and I think that we've with our non-conference and even now with some of we haven't seen everybody yet. Obviously, we haven't seen Minnesota, we haven't seen Iowa, we haven't seen Purdue yet, but we've already been tested early. And that's good for this basketball team, I think. And, we'll take that experience and some of those teaching moments and learning the lessons that we learned, in the first 21 in games and be able to hopefully, use some of the things that we have to be better at. And we know that, we're far from, I think, being where we want to be in terms of, offensively and defensively, and playing a clean 40 minutes. We've had some really good moments so far, but we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. We still got the Gophers on Wednesday, and that's really the only thing that right now should be on anybody's mind.
Skip, we'll go ahead with you. Last question.
Coach, congratulations on the win. Today was Indiana's celebration for girls and women in sports. Talk about being an inspiration for thousands of girls and women of all ages in our community.
Well, I think it really comes down to our players, being the inspiration for those young kids. I think that they get excited, when they get to see Coach Moren, but I think they're more excited when they get to see Mackenzie Holmes, right, and Grace Berger and Sydney Parrish and the rest of those, talented, smart, women that represent Indiana and Indiana women's basketball. And so, the biggest thing, Skip, is that our players understand that there's a responsibility, to being a women's basketball player here in Bloomington, and their job is not just to go out and perform, but it's also to be an inspiration, for young girls to look up to, because you got so many, young kids, and girls basketball, women's basketball has become such a popular sport. Everybody, is wants to look up to somebody, and when you have a team that's full of the Mackenzies and the Grace Bergers and the Sydneys and the Chloes, and and you don't have to go very far, right, to support them and cheer them on, and the grace that our kids have, but also they're so gracious with their time. I think that's the most important thing, that our kids, their willingness to want to be around young kids and encourage them and speak to them is really special. And so, give our kids credit, because they always handle themselves, whether they're out in public, whether they're in front of adults, whether they're in front of kids, they always handle themselves in such a great way. It's something that you, as a coach, right, as their leader, you're really proud of, because of I know they're making a really special impact.